What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. It is Friday, people. The weekend has arrived. You know what I'm saying? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all of that business, people. Time to enjoy. Although you should enjoy every day, to be fair. But you know what I'm saying, people. Friday settings, just that Friday feeling. Feed Ben White that football, man. He might not have got the national team call up. But Benjamin, we're going to feed you that football, man. I know you don't like watching football, but you're going to be fed it by Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal community. Big up to Polymation, by the way, with that one. He's got some great edits there lined up. Big up to everyone for tuning in. Yeah, constant bangers, Craig. Big up to you. What is it? It's fireworks day, right? 5th of November. So let's get some fireworks in the celebration today, people. There will be waffles firing all over the place. Press conference reaction on the way. Arsenal being linked with 2 strikers from Syria as the hunt continues to replace Lacazette this summer. I think we all know that Lacazette is on his way out of the football club. It's just a case really of who comes in to replace him, and we're being linked with a number of different names at the moment. 2 from Serie A today. We've spoken about these 2 before, particularly one of them. So we'll be delving into that as well. Plus, get your comments in, and we'll talk about the latest ahead of the game against Watford this weekend, man. We've got a big game, a game that we should win, but this is the Premier League, man. Anything can happen, and we'll be getting into that. Hope you're all safe and well. Like I said, happy Diwali to everyone for yesterday. We're celebrating that. And make sure, like Kev says, if you don't smash that like on the way in, make sure you lick down that like on the way out, people. Big up to everyone for the constant support on the channel. We're getting great numbers at the moment. And big up Broads in the chat. I'm at work, so I can't even stay, but everyone smash the like button. Whose interview is better, Mikel Arteta or Kanye? If you listen, for anybody that hasn't listened to that Kanye West interview yet, I've listened to near enough all of it this morning. It's over 2 hours on Drink Champs with Noriega. If you like your hip-hop and stuff like that, you will love that interview. What an interview, by the way. So, yeah, if you get some time today, listen to that, man. That will put you in a good frame of mind. That is for certain. Right, let's go, people. Big up to everyone in the community. As I said, tomorrow we'll be doing the Manchester Derby watch-along. We'll be live from about 12:15. United against City. And then, obviously, Arsenal against Watford on Sunday. So 2 watch-alongs this weekend. People, 2 strikers being linked with Arsenal. The first one, bit of a shot in the dark, really, this one. I haven't really seen us linked with this guy too often. But Arsenal are being linked with Andrea Belotti from Torino. The reports coming out of Italy state Arsenal are considering a move for Andrea Belotti. The Torino striker only has 8 months left on his contract, and he's free to speak to clubs in January. Inter and AC Milan are also interested. Let me put that Granit Xhaka slow mode on, people, because the comments are coming in thick and fast already. So let's put that Per Mertesacker mode on so that we can get all the comments in. There you go, job done. Andrea Belotti, of course, Italian international striker. A bit more of a target man, I suppose, than the strikers we've got. He's 27 years of age at the moment, turns 28 in December, and it's believed Torino could be willing to let him go for 15 million euros in January, bearing in mind that he can go for free at the end of the season. Let me know what you think about this one, people. Falilu said Belotti wants to stay in Italy. Rion said just give Lacazette a 29-year contract. Yeah, if only, eh? He can stay in Italy, says Navari. Zach said, on a free, are you mad? I'm taking him. Belotti wants to move to AC Milan, says Omar. Belotti is dead food, says Sahas. Broad said, I'm going to watch this on Curtis Shaw TV +1. That Friday feeling, I see that pigeon video on Insta. Yeah, that's a banger, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's feeling good on the Friday, people. You know them ones. His stats, just for anybody that is interested in his stats, I'm just looking at them now. I'll bring them up on screen for you with Belotti. For me, wouldn't be at the top of the list. I can't lie, people. He would not be at the top of the list. He's a good striker, somebody that we could look at on a free. These are his stats over the last few seasons at Torino. I mean, 16-17 was his big season. 26 goals in the league. He's backed that up with 10, 15, 16, 13, 2 in 6 this year. Is he that great? I mean, me personally, if they signed him on a free, I would understand why they went for him. You know, financially, it makes a lot of sense. But for me, he's not the answer. You know, like Jacques saying, he didn't look great in the Euros. South London's finest. Belotti was a gunman a couple of years ago, but he fell off. I mean, you do have to just to add context to it. You know, he's playing for Torino, who are not a top club in Italy. No disrespect to them. So maybe it's just a situation where he needs a better club in order to thrive a little bit better. Navarre said he's a one-season wonder. Nimbo said he is mayor now. Xhaka mode is on, people. Don't worry, we're in slow mode. Motivated Success said, Curtis, your honest view on Arsenal making top 4 this season. I would say difficult, but not impossible. I think we are going to need probably Man United out of the 4 to stop paying that Ollie tax, man, and get dragged into a top 6 race. Because those 4 teams have got better teams than us at the moment in terms of City, Chelsea, Liverpool, United. But the reality is it's not always the best 4 teams that finish in the top 4. So we'll have to see on that one. Difficult, but not impossible. Make sure you smash the like, people, and subscribe. Road to 40k settings and beyond. Shadman, big up for the super chat. Said, big up, Curtis. What's your thoughts on the link to Dusan Vlahovic? He's only 21 and fits our target profile. Well, there you go. You've just, you know, nicely worked me into this situation. Now let's get the big story up. You can keep your Andrea Belotti, who for me is a bit meh, like you said. This one coming from Eduardo Hahn, courtesy of DiMarzio. Arsenal are working to reach an agreement for Dusan Vlahovic. Fiorentina directors in London recently. Arsenal want to bring the player in January. The Gunners are willing to reach an 80 million euros fee. They need to convince the player, reports DiMarzio. Now, for me, now you're speaking my language. This is what I'm talking about. Dusan Vlahovic, for me, is a player that I want to see in the Prem, and I would love to see at Arsenal. This guy is a proper striker. 21 goals last season in his breakthrough season in 37 games. He's already got 8 goals in 11 matches this season and 1 assist. 21 years of age. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of this guy. Now, he will be difficult to get. Fiorentina directors were reported as being in London recently. You know, could that be Tottenham? There are rumours it could be Tottenham as a potential Kane replacement. The fact that he is, Antonio Conte will know him well from his time in Italy. I think if you look at the other clubs in London, it wouldn't be Chelsea. However, being in London doesn't necessarily mean it's a London club that is joining. You know, he could easily be going somewhere else. But it does say in this interview by DiMarzio that the player needs to be convinced to go to Arsenal. You know, he's been linked with Juventus. He's been linked with Bayern Munich. He's been linked with Atletico Madrid. Is he going to join Arsenal in January while we don't have European football? Now, I've read a little bit more of this report, and it says that Arsenal and Fiorentina do have a good relationship. Of course, we loaned Lucas Torreira to Fiorentina at the start of the season, and apparently Lucas Torreira is having a good season at the moment in recent weeks at Fiorentina, and it could be a case of, you know, you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours kind of thing. You allow Vlahovic to come, we give you a reduced price on Lucas Torreira, whether that is enough to convince them. Dan said, Oyarzabal or Victor Osimhen. For me, Osimhen. Oyarzabal is like a false 9 to me. I don't really see him as an out-and-out striker. But yeah, Osimhen for me, I would love to get. But like I said, I think you would have to pay 80 or 90 million pounds to get him. Edu, do your job. Get yourself over to Italy. You know, get on the jet skis. Do whatever. Get this guy to Arsenal. What a player this is. And his age and everything fits the profile. Zach said 80 million is 72 million, by the way. Well, the last player we paid 72 million pound for did not exactly work out. But, you know, that can't put Arsenal off doing big business in the future. I just work here said, bro, Vlahovic is a beast, even more of a brute than Aubameyang. I mean, listen, for me, this will be a fantastic signing. Could we get it done? You never know. You know, I don't know what the situation is regarding Fiorentina. Is there any financial difficulty? I'm just looking here at Vlahovic and just trying to get a bit of information regarding his contract. I mean, he is being linked with Spurs as well. And like I said, Atletico Madrid and Juventus have been interested in him as well. I mean, his contract, people, ends in 2023. So he's got less than 2 years left on that contract. So maybe there's a situation where Fiorentina are thinking cash in on him now. They can't afford him to run down that contract. You know, left-footed. He's a bit more. He's like a quicker Olivier Giroud almost. Pay says, "What? I'm Curtis Lawless. Big up to you, bro. Big up for tuning in. Man City could be interested in him. That's another one. You know, we know they're on the lookout for a striker. I'm just kind of hoping with Man City they wait until the end of the season to go and get maybe Haaland or somebody like that. I'm just reading a little bit more on Vlahovic here in terms of his contract situation, and there was a story came out last month. Fiorentina's owner Rocco Commisso confirmed Vlahovic has turned down a contract extension that would have made him the highest paid player in the history of the club. Vlahovic enjoyed a terrific 2020-21 season, registering 21 league goals and also a few assists. He didn't state any reason. He just said that the player had turned down the move. They would continue talks, but may be forced to move him on if he doesn't extend his contract. So, and it also said at this point, all we can do is acknowledge the wishes of the player, his entourage, and quickly identify a feasible solution as we proceed. Vlahovic has 20 months left on his contract. So, yeah, listen, there may be a chance of getting him, but will he leave Italy? I always think with a lot of these Italian clubs, they don't just allow a monster to walk out of Italy, you know, especially if he hasn't been there for long. South London's finally said, we are paying for potential, but for me, he's worth it. I would be all over it. Bring the brown envelopes and sign the lad. You know, where is Ralstonelli when you need him? Just drop him a nice little brown envelope full of £50 notes. Get the Don Raul back for this and handle business. Big up, Gio. Hope you're well, bro. Big AC Milan fan, so I'm sure he'll have a nice outlook on Vlahovic. He says, Big Curtis always grinding. I think Vlahovic is good. Be risky if he gets Fiorentina to Europe, then it's a no-brainer. But Fiorentina finished 16th the last 2 years, so he isn't proven to take a team up. It's a good point. Big up, Gio, with the super chat and support as always, bro. Hope you're well. It was interesting that the thing is, as a striker, you can only do so much to lift a team, can't you? You know, if you've scored 21 league goals in your breakthrough season and they finish 16th, can you do much more? Okay, maybe if he scores 30 goals, they get up the league a few more positions. But ultimately, the team have to contribute as well. Like I said, he started this season quick as well. 8 league goals in 11 games and 1 assist. There's only so much you can do as a striker. You know, I know that from experience, people. You know, there's only so much you can do. Jashar said, big up Curtis, that 72 million price tag gives me sleepless nights. I mean, we're going to speak about Pepe in greater detail during the international break. I'm actually going to do a stream kind of looking at Pepe in greater detail because it is a conundrum that we kind of need to figure out. Kasiri said that Isaac would be a great addition to us. Much love to you from Uganda. Big up, bro. We spoke a little bit about him yesterday, and he's definitely someone being linked. Alan, it's not even the new microphone, you know. I'm having some difficulties with the new one, and the sound doesn't really sound much better. So I'm speaking to somebody today. I need to adjust a few settings, and hopefully it will sound better. So yeah, still the regular microphone that we've been working with. Lemoy said 9 goals, 1 assist so far this season. His whole team has scored 16 in total. I mean, you can only do so much, let me tell you, as a striker. What can you do if you're banging goals in and they're not doing anything? I mean, I'm looking at it now, people. Fiorentina are 7th in the league. they're already 13 points behind AC Milan and Napoli at the top. But if you look at Fiorentina concede goals, and when you look at last season, just to put it into context, I mean, they actually finished 13th last season, and they scored a total of 47 goals, and he scored 21. So he scored nearly 50% of his team's goals. They only won 9 games out of 38. You know, I think their problem is elsewhere. They conceded 59. They've clearly got a poor defense. So that is where their problem is. So for me, I would definitely be trying to get him in. Whole show on Pepe. No, not the whole show, but we'll do. That's going to be one of the main segments. We're going to look at Nicolas Pepe and try and figure out what's gone right and what's gone wrong. Killer Isololi said, Curtis, the mic and webcam is fine. You don't need 1084K for what you're doing, bro. Yeah, you know what? I've slapped the 1080 on. But, you know, I want to get that microphone sorted. Like Broad said, announce Curtis microphone. Hopefully by tomorrow. We're doing the Manchester Derby 12:15. We should have it tomorrow. Ziggy said, the way we spam crosses, we need Ivan Toney. I mean, the thing is about this Vlahovic, for anybody that has seen him, I would describe him as a quicker Giroud. Big, left-footed, but more pace, a bit more lethal, and better movement, you know. So he would be great with the crosses as well. I've said many times, Ziggy, you know, Ivan Toney, for me, he wouldn't be at the top of the list for me, Ivan Toney. You know, he hasn't really... I know he's only been in the Prem for like 9 or 10 games, but he hasn't set the Prem on fire yet. And like I said, I saw reports before that Brentford want over £50 million for him. I don't see a £50 million striker in Ivan Toney. Same with Ollie Watkins. You know, Ollie Watkins to me is not better than Lacazette. But these are just my opinions, people. Some of you may rate these guys highly. What I will say, Ivan Toney is a problem. He's difficult to mark and play against, but is he a 20-goal striker in the Premier League? I'm not sure yet. Zero Click, give them Torreira as a sweetener to the deal for Vlahovic. Yeah, reduce price, take him. You know, have him for 10 million, but make sure Vlahovic ends up in London, you know. Bring back the kitchen clock in the background. Hey, the good old days, man. You know what I mean? Harry Steen said, I will be Pepe's lawyer. Defend him by all means, man. Travis said Vlahovic is 6'3", reasonably big, you know, if you get your crosses in. Corey Best said, big up Curtis from Philly, Barbados. Big up to you, bro. Josh Shaw said, I haven't watched Vlahovic. Is he better than Calvert-Lewin? I think Calvert-Lewin is an excellent player. His all-round game is very good. He's very strong. What I will say about Calvert-Lewin, I think Vlahovic is more of a goal scorer than Calvert-Lewin. You know, Calvert-Lewin does a lot of good things outside of putting the ball in the back of the net. It's always difficult because, like we're saying, players don't always leave Serie A and do great in the Premier League. Some do. Obviously, your Thierry Henrys, your Ravanellis, your Zolas. But on the flip side, we've seen a lot of strikers come from Italy and struggle. Your Shevchenkos and you know, Crespo was not as big a success as we expected. So, listen, like we said yesterday, man, £80 million now for a striker is potential. You know, nothing else. You know, you don't even get a proven top quality striker for £80 million now. You're probably going to have to spend 100 million to get a proven striker, which is why sometimes you've got to create that player, which is what I've said many times about Gabriel Martinelli, especially with Arsenal playing 2 up front at the moment. I think Martinelli could play in a 2 up front. In a 1 where you've got to hold the ball up and link up play might be more difficult, but in a 2 could happen. Do you believe Vlahovic is worth 80? How many players nowadays are worth what you pay for them, especially these players who are reasonably unproven? So it'll be interesting. Temp said I'd take Belotti, but then I'm biased. I'm Italian. I'd love to see any Italian in my club or an Italian in my club. Like I said, a few years ago, there was a lot of hype around Belotti, not so much now. Rory Sang says, big up, bro. Kroenke has actually been taking out cash. I wonder what changed. You know, he'll blame the stadium build in America, the pandemic, this, that, the other, you know. Big up the legend that is School Fuggery in the chat. No chance on Tony. Certified championship level Don. Timo Pukki part 2, man. You know, there are a lot of strikers, man. They're gunmen in the championship. They come to the Prem and they're just fodder, you know. And I do think Ivan Toney has got something about him. But 50 million Ivan Toney, I think for me, he ends up at a lower team than Arsenal. I can't lie if he moves from Brentford. Oh, Samuel said, watch quite a bit of Vlahovic. Calvert-Lewin much better in the air, but Vlahovic more mobile and good feet. Yeah, definitely. Ilya said, hi Curtis, how's it going? I've seen Belotti, not very convincing. Many better strikers in Syria. Surprised you didn't know much about Dusan Zapata before this. Honestly, I'd only seen him a handful of times, and I was so impressed with him the other night against Man United. I can see that he's got a little bit of, he's a bit rags at times, but he's a proper like throwback striker. But like I said, I think the problem with Zapata is I think he's about 31. Couldn't see Arsenal going for him. I think they want a younger striker. Fraser, hit them likes. Big up to Fraser for tuning in, bro. Mohammed said Tony is worth about 35 to 40 million. Amo said school fuggery certified championship don. LOL. I'm telling you, Tony's got to prove himself before he gets that kind of move. Johnny said, Curtis, we should be looking at Haller. I think when a player comes to the Prem, struggles, goes elsewhere, you would hesitate to bring him back because you're going to always have that concern that maybe Haller can't do it in the Prem. Maybe he suits playing for Ajax in Holland. Or was it just a case of West Ham, wrong club, wrong time? Maybe he comes back and does the business, at Arsenal. But I can't see Arsenal taking that chance. Leon said Tony's link-up is elite, Jamaican lacquer. Listen, Ivan Toney, man, I think eventually he may have to go and play elsewhere because I don't think he'll get that England call-up. I can't lie. So he may have to look at playing elsewhere. Man called him the Jamaican lacquer, Imagine we got Zapata back in 14-15 when he was warming Napoli's bench. I'm telling you, he was doing bits. Big up to Buenos Aires. Gunnar said, big up Curtis. Hope you're well, bro. All good. Ziggy said, Haller is dead in the Prem. Knott's 21. Syria standard is a lot lower. You see a lot of ex-Prem players who look world-class there. Declan Rice or bust? Nah. I don't think Arsenal will be signing Declan Jollof Rice. I just don't think they will. Not for 100 million anyway. Declan Rice, for me, I have to admit, I was a little bit harsh on him a year or so ago. I called him a more mobile Eric Dyer. I do think he's better than that. That was a little bit harsh. But I still think there's a pure case of English tax when you're talking about Declan Rice. They're talking about 80, 90. I've even seen 100 million for Declan Jollof Rice, Declan Rice and peas, not for me. Not for me. I ain't paying them kind of prices, man. Man said basmati rice. Lackland said, hey, Curtis, just came from Talk is Cheap. Keep the grind up from Australia. Big up to you, bro. Curtis, thoughts on Dybala to Arsenal? I think he'll sign a new deal. I know Allegri loves him. Yeah, over 1,000 people in the chat already. Big up to every single one of you for tuning in. Great support on this Friday. Hope you're having a great weekend. Like I said, I just came from watching that Kanye West interview on Drink Champs, man. What an interview that is. Quite inspiring, a lot of it, to be honest. So if you haven't watched that interview and you like your hip hop and stuff like that, go and check that out. 2 hours and 20 minutes interview is a long one. But yeah, big up to everyone. Curtis is mean, Declan Jollof Rice. Come on, man. Uncle Ben settings, people. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. Good player in the English market. You're going to pay 60, 70, 80 million for him for real. Just because of the English tax. If Harry Maguire cost 80 million for a fridge at centre-back, then a mobile 20-something years of age, early 20s, centre midfielder is going to cost you big money. I understand it. Santam, yeah, apparently we're looking to sign Vlahovic in January for 80 million euros, but we'll have to see how that works out. SB said more like Declan Pilar Rice. Listen, man, I'm telling you, Declan, Jollof, Pilar, Basmati, all of that, people. Declan Rice settings, rice and peas. Rice will be one of the best CDMs. Will be, might be, possibly will be. All means that he's currently not. And that means you're paying for potential, in all fairness. But I do think he has improved. I can't lie. Clubs up the price so they don't lose their best assets, apart from Arsenal, of course, who let their best assets go for peanuts. And while we're talking about assets, Matteo Guendouzi, remember him? He's made the French squad again. It's amazing that we had a 21-year-old central midfielder, getting now in the French squad. France, probably the best team in world football, really, as a national team. You know, they are the world champions. And we've allowed him to leave for £10 million on loan, which for me is still pretty shocking business for a so-called self-sustaining model. Well, Newcastle are trying to sign him. Moneybags Newcastle, who have just appointed Eddie Howe as manager, they tried to hire pretty much everyone in the business. Unai Emery rejected them a few days ago. Now Newcastle want to sign Matteo Guendouzi. So you might be thinking, how can Matteo Guendouzi sign for Newcastle? He's still at Arsenal. There's an obligation or an option to buy for Marseille. How is this going to happen? Now, apparently, Newcastle want to buy him directly from Marseille. Marseille are going to trigger this release clause, or this obligation. So I don't think he's ever going to be back at Arsenal. But Newcastle are willing to offer potentially up to £30 million for Matteo Guendouzi. They see him as a player that can build for the future. He's still only 21, 22. He's in the French squad for the third squad in a row. And it could be an opportunity where Marseille just buy him for 10 million and sell him straight away for 30 million and treble their money. Now, it is believed this deal is unlikely, as apparently he is very happy at Marseille at the moment. Maybe if Unai Emery had gone to Newcastle, maybe that could have convinced him. I know Emery was the guy that signed him and brought him through at Arsenal. But you have to look at this now and say Arsenal have had a nightmare with this one. If he's being linked with £30 million moves, how did we not allow ourselves a get-out clause in this loan? Why didn't we say, okay, there's an option, but it's on our terms? You know, we could have said, you know what, actually, Newcastle want him for 30 million. If Marseille, if you want to buy him, we want 30 million. If you haven't got the 30 million, we sell him to Newcastle for 30 million. Or worst case scenario, which may even be a good thing, you bring him back to Arsenal. You get rid of Mohamed El Neni. You potentially get rid of Granit Xhaka. We get a midfielder. We bring Guendouzi back. Imagine Arsenal having 4 midfielders of Partey Lokonga, Guendouzi, and a new midfielder. You know, maybe a Guimarães, a Renato Sanchez, an Aouar. Look at that difference in quality. Dr. Ill, thank you for your super chat, bro. Said, I'll take Vlahovic or Isaac. I still brought Isaac on FIFA 22. Thierry on resettings. He plays better than Haaland on my team. Big up to everyone. FIFA 22, man. Honestly, I haven't played that for about 2 weeks. Brett said, no, he's a problem child. I mean, Deschamps seems to be managing him fine in the French squad. Sampaoli, is it? The Marseille manager doesn't seem to be having any problems with him. You know, I think it's more a case sometimes of management style. Owen said, I'm playing champs and listening to your genius. I appreciate that, bro. Enjoy foot champs, man. They're probably the most stressful mode on FIFA of all time. Scarrety said, we have been a joke in the transfer department for time. See, embarrassing. I mean, I'm looking at it like this, people. You've now got an asset here in Guendouzi. Whether you like him, whether you rate him, all of that business, you either had a player that you could have kept at the club who's now a French international, or we could have sold him potentially for 30 million. Either one of those situations are better than Arsenal getting £10 million for a player that's in the French squad. Arsenal have talked about over and over again the self-sustaining model. We're allowing Mavropanos has just been voted in some sort of this football team of the month in the Bundesliga. He's going for £3.5 million. Matteo Guendouzi, £10 million. Lacazette out of contract. And Ketia, El Neni, Kolasinac. 4 players out of contract. Laka, we paid 50 million. El Neni, 7 million. We turned down 11 million from Palace for Nketiah. And Kolasinac, we've been paying 100,000 plus for about 4 or 5 years. The self-sustaining model requires Arsenal to get maximum profit out of players. Joe Willock is the ideal example of that. He went on loan, did well, we got 25 million, bang. That is the system working. If Arsenal are going to become the giant that we need to become again, and Kroenke is not going to always put his hand in his pocket, we have to deal with players better. when we're looking to move them on. Like I said the other day, Sebastian Haller went to West Ham, 40 million, one bad season. They got 25 million back for him quickly. They realized this isn't working. The longer he stays at the club, his value is going to drop. Why on earth have Arsenal allowed a 50 million pound Alexander Lacazette to run down his contract? What other club in general allows that to happen? Now, you do see the odd one, but the clubs that are doing it are not self-sustaining models. Manchester United have let Pogba's contract run down, but they are financially on a different level. PSG have allowed Mbappe. They've got the Qatari money. We should have got 25 million back for Lacazette, 25 for Guendouzi, 10 million for Mavropanos, get a little 5 million for El Neni, a 10 million for Eddie and Nketiah. We have to learn to manage a financial situation a lot better moving forward if we're going to be successful. We can't rely on Kroenke to always bail us out, because we know this guy doesn't want to put his hand in his pocket. Big up Shahir, who said, yo, can you tell, you can tell that Arteta wants certain characters to go with the talent. He won't look back at Guendouzi. Even Martinelli might be out the door for the same reason. He definitely wants a particular character. I think he wants you to be fully on board with the way that he thinks. If you're kind of a little bit different from that, or you're against it a little bit, it's like he doesn't really seem as if he wants to work with you, which I think is why somebody like Eddie Nketiah has probably had more game time than Martinelli. He constantly talks about Eddie Nketiah's attitude, and I think that's something that Mikel Arteta is massive on. Jashar said, big up Curtis, I feel George Sampaoli would bust Guendouzi's lip if he steps out of line. Maybe that's why he respects him, Yark said Guendouzi yesterday was fire in the Europa League. I didn't actually see the highlights. Brett said Arteta is done with him. He kept acting like a kid. I don't see that changing if he came back. It's unfortunate, but I think you're spot on with that. And I think Guendouzi, his time is up. There was actually rumours yesterday, people, that Saliba may have got in the French squad. Unfortunately, it wasn't selected. I think Kimpembe has got an injury, and there was talk of a centre-back coming in. And they were saying yesterday that it may be Saliba. They went with Lenglet, is it, from Barcelona? But there is talk that Saliba is close to a French call-up. So that will boost his profile and his value. Hopefully he comes back to Arsenal, of course, next season. George G said, remember, before Martinelli got injured, he had a good run of games and he was banging in the goals. Hopefully we get to see him again. Guendouzi still has a few mistakes in him, just like Saliba. However, I'd still work with them both, said DJ Dre. Lenglet getting in ahead of Saliba is, crazy. I think he's just gone for the experience and the fact he plays for Barcelona, which is disappointing. I'd love to see Saliba in that French squad. Malaysian Guna, Earpod Alba out, Gabriel Martinelli in. Like I said, for me, Martinelli in a front two can definitely do something as a striker. Truth Ton said Messi left Barca on a free and Mbappe could be leaving PSG on a free. I mean, Messi they couldn't afford to keep him. That was kind of exceptional circumstances. And like I said, Mbappe leaving PSG, financially, they can bounce back from that real quick. They've got that oil money. So don't get me wrong, there are free transfers that happen. But when you're a self-sustaining model, you shouldn't allow that to happen, and Arsenal are. I don't think you would see that happen too much at a team like Liverpool, who are kind of self-sustaining as well. Stan and Josh's attitude towards Arsenal has been disastrous, so no point Guna's worrying about Guendouzi's character. That's small time. Much bigger problems at Arsenal. I hear you on that. The owners, as much as there's still a lot of pressure on Mikel Arteta, there is a lot of pressure on these owners. Unfortunately, the fan base are not really aiming that pressure towards the owners at the moment, but we'll see in the future. Rifty said Arteta is a talent, but he's not good enough. Well, we'll see about that. Don't get me started on Arteta. He will set me off. Ziggy said Pep Teta hits 100 games this weekend. Aubameyang also 1 goal away from 100 for Arsenal. And let's be totally honest, they've had 2 very different times at Arsenal during that time. But let's just hope from 100 moving forwards that Mikel Arteta continues with this improvement that's going on at the moment. Daniel, How did it go, my friend? For those that don't know, Daniel had a meeting with the Arsenal board yesterday. Very fortunate position. I hope you asked some questions, bro. Give us a little rundown of what happened, man, in the comments. Big up to you with the super chat, bro, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope you asked them some tough questions, man, because I know you do. Anyway, I know you're a very tough talker when it comes to Arsenal. Lavan said we need a good replacement for Lacazette, 100%. Would you even keep Lacazette? You know, I think Lacazette will leave in the summer. I can't lie. Right, people, get your drinks ready, get the pillow, get comfortable, get the syrup ready, people. You know what time it is? It's Friday, so it can only mean one thing. Every day I'm waffling, every day I'm waffling. He is here, people. The Cone Man, Mickey Ross, is back. Cone Man music. Forget the Kanye West interview, people. This is where it's at for your hip hop / football settings. Where else are you going to get the cannon tattooed on the manager's forehead, people? Where else are you going to get them 2 eye drops under Mikel Arteta's eye? Big up to Polymation with the picture. It is legendary. It is waffle settings. Arteta's press conference is back. Brett said he's dripping in syrup. I'm telling you. Let's see what he's got to say. I'm sure he's a lot happier. I mean, look at that smile. Look at him. You know, no grey hairs. You know what? A couple of international breaks ago, I was zooming in on this, and there was grey hairs in there. I was like, yo, I don't know what's going on here, man. This guy's getting grey. He's getting stressed. Man's looking fresh again. Big smile on his face. Here's looking like the Lego character again. Life is good, man. Life is good for Mikel Arteta right now. And for those that don't know, people, we can be in the top 4 by the end of this weekend if results go for Arsenal. Bear in mind that West Ham play at home to Liverpool, Manchester United play at home to Manchester City, and Everton play against Tottenham. There are teams around us that are going to drop points this weekend. We need to do our job. Man said yellow teeth. Oh, yeah, there's a little bit at the back. I don't know. I let him off. Maybe he'll get the dentures, the veneers that what's his name's got, man. Gabriella's got. So maybe he'll get them next time, you know. L'Oreal settings for Mikel. I'm telling you. Got his hair coloured. Man was going grey when we were losing. He was stressed out, man. Probably didn't want to look in the mirror. But now we're winning. He's back, man. Gucci Mikel settings, man. Shouldn't have zoomed in. Man are on him. Man said his teeth are yellow. He can't get the best of everything. Maybe he's done it to match the away kit. You never know, people. He's Arsenal through and through, people. The man said Lego here. Come on, you know, you was a kid. You put that little Lego here on top. You know, he's got the perfect haircut. John Layat said, I hope Daniel came with that Jeff Shreves talk. They might have escorted him out of the room if he came like that. Let's get into it, people. Let's get into the waffle. Let's get you all fed for lunch, people. I'm sure he will say something outrageous somewhere. Mikel Arteta held another Zoom call with the media on Friday. He still doesn't want these guys near him as he previewed Sunday's game against Watford. Our manager discussed Smith Rowe, the latest team news, reaching 100 games in charge. He's going to have some interesting things to say about 100 games because we've had some tough days at the office during that 100, let me tell you. Maple syrup settings, people. So Mikel Arteta has said on what he wants from his squad, he said, what I'm demanding is that we keep improving, get good performances that will lead to good results, and that we maintain the same unity and togetherness around the squad, and we are able to, he said it already, people, first paragraph, transmit is back. We are able to transmit that in the games and every day in training. If we do that, we will keep getting better. I wondered how long it would take. There it is. First paragraph, transmit settings, people. He's transmitting us into the top 4. He's going to take us all the way up there, people. On our record against Watford, he said, every game is different. They have a new manager, a team that needs wins as we do. And in this league, any team can cause you problems, can beat you. And you always have to be aware of that. I mean, listen, man said Mikel Transtetter. Watford are a very unpredictable team. We saw them the other week. They beat Everton 5-2. That was a shock result, man. Josh King hat-trick. Ismail Assar on the wing. I remember him ripping us up a few seasons ago in the Europa League in the first leg. I think it was for Rennes. We beat them in the second leg. He's a good player. They've got some good players. So Mikel transmitter, man. He's gonna have to make sure we're ready. It's a game on paper that looks like we should batter them, but anything can happen. But on the flip side, they lost 5-0 to Liverpool. So my Endot said every day I'm transmitting settings, people. Mickey Rouse. But yeah, let's move on. Hopefully we get some decent questions in here today. On Watford's form this season, he said they had an incredible run last year. And to do what they did, and now they have changed manager, it is always difficult in this league for any team. So imagine coming from the Championship is even harder. But it is a team that has been for many years in the league. They are our neighbours next to us, and they are tough to beat. Of course, Watford's training ground is next door to Arsenal's. So I'm sure they know each other very well as they're leaving the training ground. It is literally next door as well. 80 mil initial agreement with Fiorentina. I mean, we hope that's true. He needs to transmit 3 points against Watford. Let's hope so. On Kieran Tierney and Granit Xhaka's fitness, Kieran has been training the last 2 days. He's feeling much better, so hopefully he will be available. And he doesn't even mention Xhaka there. And he said on if Tierney will play for Scotland, he said, let's see in the next training sessions how he feels. He has done bits with the team, but he's not fully trained. In the next 2 days, we will see how he is. For me, if Tierney's available or not, I would bench him this weekend. There's no way I'm dropping Nuno Tavares after those last 2 performances. You know, chill out, sit on the bench, relax. We'll see you after the international break. You know, there's no way I'm dropping Nuno after them performances. But good that Tierney's back. That will mean, obviously, that Granit Xhaka is the only player in the Arsenal squad unavailable for injury, which is a massive boost. Throughout the years, we've always had so many players unavailable. Noel said, big up, see, I would rather Arsenal spend big money for good players we need in January and make sure of a top 6. We could lose out if we wait for the summer. And this is where it's interesting. I did say this yesterday. I think Arsenal need to make a good signing in January, someone who gives us a boost. Anthony said he needs to transmit some new toothpaste. Yo, I don't want to get drawn into this, man. I'm trying not to slander him too much, Anthony, man. Try to draw me out. Get Daniel on to talk about the meeting. Yeah, we'll have to sort something out, Daniel, man. I want to know what happened. School Fuggery said, we've got no business being in the top 6 if we're dropping points to Palace and Watford at home, let alone top 4. And I hear you, School Fuggery. If you want to get top 4, you've got to roll Watford at home, you know, no matter how difficult. On the competition between Tierney and Tavares, he said, hopefully we can have more of those dilemmas. So we have top players performing at the top level in many positions. That only raises the quality standards and performance. If anything gets a bit too long-winded, I'll just skip it. On Ramsdale, on whether he should be England's number 1, he said, I'm really happy to see him back in the squad. The rest is the decision of Gareth and the coaching team. What Aaron has to do is keep performing and be humble. On Smith Rowe and Ben White not making the England squad, he said, again, Gareth has to make so many difficult decisions, so many choices. What I like is that our players are performing at a level that I'm sure they are giving problems in selection to Gareth. That is what pleases me, to know they are at their level to do it. It will be about timing when the manager decides it's the right moment. A lot of Arsenal fans were in meltdown yesterday saying, you know, they can't believe that Smith Rowe is not in the England squad. For me, I wasn't overly shocked or disappointed by that. I said yesterday, he plays left wing at the moment for Arsenal. In the England squad on the left wing, you've got Jack Grealish, 100 million, Raheem Sterling, who was our best attacking player in the Euros, and Marcus Rashford, who is a very highly rated Manchester United player. There's no way Smith Rowe's going to get picked over those 3 at the moment if they're all available. Equally, his other position, attacking number 8 / maybe a number 10, you've got Phil Foden, who is an outstanding player at Man City, and Mason Mount, who won the Champions League last season. It's going to take time for Smith Rowe to get in the England squad. It may even take one of those players being unavailable for Arsenal for him to get in the squad. Daniel, as soon as the press conference reaction's done, I'm out of here, bro. I've got a few things to do. So what we'll do, we'll sort out a show, and we'll have a longer talk, bro. But I appreciate you in the comments. If you want me to come on, send me the link. I'm only going to be on for about 10 minutes maximum. So we'll do a show and go a little bit more in detail. But yeah, with Smith Rowe, I just think he needs to wait. I saw people like, oh my God, Gareth Southgate hasn't got a clue. Smith Rowe's not in the England squad. Who you dropping to put him in the England squad? Brett said ESR over Mount in the 10. Listen, Mason Mount is not particularly good for England. I've got to be totally honest. I haven't seen Mount play that many times for England and perform. He's better for Chelsea, I would say. But his reputation alone is going to get him in the squad. He's won the Champions League. He scored a hat-trick the other week for Chelsea, and sometimes those reputations will get you in the squad. So, listen, ESR should be looking to push Mason Mount, but he needs a body of work. You heard Southgate say that players need to do it for longer periods of time. So it's very difficult. Like you're saying, yeah, Raheem Sterling hasn't played regular at City this season, but look at Raheem Sterling's body of work. He was England's best attacking player in the Euros. Even though, the manager says I'm picking players on form, we know in football that doesn't apply to every player in the squad. If Harry Kane's out of form, Harry Kane gets picked. Rashford, Sterling, Sancho, Foden, Maguire, they can be having terrible runs. They will still get picked for England because of their reputation and the clubs they're at. That's just how football goes. Arteta said, on summing up his 100 games in charge, this will be interesting, an incredible and big journey. A lot has happened, not only at the football club, but around the world. That obviously has had a huge impact in everything that we have lived in the last 2 years. But I am so privileged to be where I am, and I am really enjoying the opportunity and the challenge that we have ahead. He's enjoying himself. He is. He's in a fortunate position. He's the manager of Arsenal Football Club. He didn't have any experience prior to that. So, yeah, he should definitely be embracing that, and he is. Some would say he's fortunate, but he's got to make the most of it. On whether he feels things are coming together now, he said yes, but this is about momentum and trying to pick it up and settle those foundations that we want to give us performances and results, but also to build a sense of unity that is building around the club with our people, with our players, and the way we are playing and transmitting. And for me, this is just as important. The man is a living politician. He's just dropping speeches for fun, man. I'm telling you. That is like an Oscar award winning, you've just won the Oscar, and you're collecting your award, and he's dropping that. Like, he's actually getting me hyped up with that. Oh, my days. If this guy ever wins us something like a European trophy or something, I can't wait for these press conferences. On Antonio Conte's arrival, on whether Arsenal fans will be worried. He said, well, first of all, I would like to send a message to Nuno and his coaching staff, because it is always tough to see a colleague leave the job. Nuno has done extremely well in this country and has proven to be a top manager. They made a decision to bring in somebody else. We know that he has a really successful past in the last 2 jobs, and we will see how he does there. For me, I'm telling you, there's another diss track there. There's a slight little diss, a little Drake diss at Kanye West. The man asked him about Antonio Conte. He spent 2/3 of it talking about Nuno. Man goes, well, Antonio, he's been successful in his last 2 jobs. I mean, he's been successful in maybe his last 3 or 4 jobs, because he done it at Juventus, Chelsea, and Inter. But man's only saying 2 jobs, And he said, we'll see how he does. Man's coming for him. Man's taking off the toupee off Conte's head. Bang! Man's going straight for the wig. Man said, we'll see how he does it, man. You know what I mean? I ain't really bigging him up. The man bigged up Nuno more than Conte. But I'm all for it. I don't mind. You can drop diss tracks at Conte and Spurs. I'm all for that. Look at the way as well. He doesn't even say the man's name. Straight subliminal diss track settings, people. They made a decision to bring in somebody else. Man addressed him as somebody else, But I'm all for it. I don't mind you transmitting that kind of thing. Let's fire them diss tracks at Spurs. Man didn't even call him Antonio. Man said somebody else, I'm all for that. I don't mind that. No respect whatsoever for him. Man didn't even say his name, On Eddie Howe potentially taking over at Newcastle, he said, I don't know. Until anything is announced, I can't really have an opinion on it. Man don't even care about Eddie Howe, Track 4. Arthur Guna said you're looking too much into it, but this is what I'm here for, people. This is what Waffle Settings is about. We do look into it. Track 3, Antonio Conte diss. Where's your wig? Track 3. Track 4, Eddie Howe, I don't even know who you are. Man said, I don't know until anything is announced. I can't even have it. Man said, who's Eddie Howe? I don't even know who he is. You know, I ain't even got an opinion on him. Fug life settings, man. I'm telling you. Arteta moving like Tupac. Man don't even say Conte's name. And man don't even care about Eddie Howe, you know. Man just firing shots all over the place. All right, what's the next question? I'm off topic here, people, but hey, I have to do this. This is what it's all about, man. Waffle settings. On the caliber of managers in the Premier League, he's going on one here. This is where the stories come out. He said, it is incredible when you think there are many, many more who are at the top, world-leading managers, but I think it is incredibly positive for the league because it raises the level. I'll skip a bit. He said, we have to bear in mind some really good examples in Neil Warnock, with David Moyes on what they have done in the game. For example, Neil beating the record in terms of longest serving in the history of David doing 1,000 games. Yo, I'm telling you, this is track 5. This is a diss track again for me, people. Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp diss. He's asking about the caliber of managers in the Premier League. And the two managers you mention are Neil Warnock and David Moyes. Is Pep Guardiola a joke to you? Is Jurgen Klopp a joke to you? Is Thomas Tuchel a joke to you? I mean, Pep raised you, and you didn't even mention his name, bro. Track 5, Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, diss. Who are you? Track 5, man's talking about Neil Warnock and David Moyes. Moisey, you know. Yeah, I'm here for it, people. Yeah, I'm reading a little bit too much into it, but I'm on it, people. You know I'm a hip-hop fan. Mick Ross just bringing out diss tracks every Friday, people. Man didn't even mention the two biggest managers in the league. Snake Eye said, great stream. I have something for a giveaway. I'll hit you up on Twitter and send it to you. Kronk, Teta out, Big C in. Hey, big up to Snake Eyes. Hit me up, bro. But I love it. Man's diss track. Neil Goat Not Kidder. Man said, Pep must be fuming. On whether it will be harder to get top 4 now that Conte has arrived. Is he actually going to say his name? And I can already see you don't mention his name. Have you ever seen the Muhammad Ali movie where Will Smith's like, say my name, and he's calling him Cassius Clay? This brother won't even say his name. Man said, I think it will be harder for any team to be fighting for the top positions. There are so many games to go. A lot will happen. You see the results and performances and how many games from one half to another with moments in the game that tells you the quality here in terms of players and managers. Man ain't got no respect for Antonio, you know. Man won't even say the man's name to us. Man said, what's your name? Track 6. Another diss track. Oh, dear me. On how Emil is feeling about not being in the England squad, I think he should be happy if people are gutted about him not being selected, or people questioning any decision. It tells you that the level he's playing at. We'll skip through that. What's interesting as well, a few people saying yesterday, I'm glad that Smith Rowe's not in the England squad so he can rest, and he's been called up for the England under 21, so he's still not going to get a rest. You know, so we'll have to see. I'm going to skip through this quick. On how he's changed from the first game. He said, I think we all update any year, like any computer. With everything that has happened with us, even more so, I am different. I see things differently. You evolve in certain ways. You learn a lot of things. Maybe this is the new Mikel Arteta iPhone 13. You know, he's been updated. It's Windows 11 Arteta now, people. So we're going to see a whole different Arteta now. On whether he could reach 1,000 games like Moyes, he said, I am nowhere near. I would like to have their recipe to see how they've done it to stay in the game for so long. I'm going to skip. Maybe David Moyes can send you the recipe, you know. On Barcelona still being without a manager. I mean, they have actually appointed Xavi now, apparently. He said, I don't know. They're just different. You see the Spanish clubs, the results they had in the last few seasons. It's remarkable. I'm happy to be where I am in an incredible league, the setup and the atmosphere. On whether top 4 is a possibility, I said, I don't know how difficult it's going to be. We have to aim every single match to try and be better. This guy, man, what a guy. These press conferences, man, are legendary, I'm telling you. I have to add that entertainment value to it, people. But yeah, we'll have to see. Someone saying I missed a super chat here from John. John Layout said Mikel Arteta to form a group named AI United. First track, who's Conte? The Guardiola situation is like the game and 50. Arteta's the game and 50 is Pep. You know what I mean? Pep's looking at him saying, I made you, and he's not having it. He's saying, listen, man, I'm my own man. On Ramsdale's save against Leicester, he said it was sensational, but I like the most the reaction from the other teammates getting back and Thomas clearing the ball. Because if Ramsdale makes that save, but they end up putting the ball in the net, it wouldn't stand for anything. So it's not about a player, it's about the team. Aaron Ramsdale dish track 7. The save ain't that good, featuring Thomas Partey. On Nuno Espirito and whether the managers deserve more time to turn results, he said, I don't know to make a judgment on why decisions are made. It depends on the results and the performances or something else. I'm going to skip through that. He said, on Ranieri and whether he thinks he could be managing at 70, he said, I need that recipe. So he's the chef now. He needs the recipe from Moyes. He's mentioned Moyes for a third time here. I told you, we all thought his idol was Pep and Wenger. It's actually David Moyes, people. Moisey from his Everton days. He said on Sambi stepping into Granit's role, he said Sambi has shown a really quick adaptation, a lot of intelligence. He is a player that is constantly trying to affect the game in the right way. It was a big task for him, the amount of minutes he's played, but he's showing he's capable of doing it and handling the situation really impressively. There you go, people. Waffle settings finished. Man, yo, what a mixtape. New Friday mixtape. G-Unit Radio Part 10. Mikel Arteta has upgraded himself. He was Windows 10. He's now Windows 11. He wants the recipe from David Moyes. You know, what a guy. Apologies, Jay. I missed your super chat. He said, my super chat. Big up, Curtis. We finally see Mikel Arteta. True inspirations are Neil Warnock and David Moyes. He has finally let us know. We all thought it was Arsene Wenger, the great manager who he played for. We thought it was Pep Guardiola, the best manager of recent times. No, it isn't, people. It is Neil Warnock and it is David Moyes. And that, to me, explains a lot about Mikel, Mickey Ross, Arteta, Transmit Teta. What a press conference as usual. People, I am out of here. We have been on for an hour. Brilliant press conference. That was another absolute classic. Don't forget, I will be back tomorrow, 12:15, Man United, Man City. And then 1:15 to 1:30 on Sunday, Arsenal against Watford. It's been a brilliant episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. Over 1,400 of you in the chat. If you didn't smash that like on the way in, smash it on the way out, people. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Take care, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bless.